Hey guys, Andy here. So it's that time of year again. It's Pixel release morning and my Pixel 11 Pro has just arrived. It's only just gone 8 o'clock. I've not been out of bed long, it doesn't feel like. So apologies if I'm a bit sleepy. The last phone upgrade I did, last phone I bought, easy way of saying it, was the Pixel 9 Pro. I skipped the 10. There were some good offers, but I think everybody's quite aware these days there's not that big a jump from one phone to the next. It's kind of smaller iterations. I think they've reached kind of, if you do that bell curve, they're kind of reaching that top end, and it is only small improvements. It's a lot of the software that they try and improve on these days. And that often washes down through the other models later in time. And I think it's probably a more common thing now. Like, well, your regular person probably only updates their phone 2 or 3 years anyway, but people like myself and maybe you that's watching this, back in the day I'd change my phone every 6 months. There was new stuff coming out, there was new things, there was new cameras, there was new screens, and this day it's just not that necessary. But I think every 2 years, maybe even every 3. So this time I've gone for the 512 storage with 16 gig of RAM. And it's probably one of the first times I've gone for the bigger storage amounts and the bigger RAM. Normally I go for the minimum and that's fine. But again, I thought, well, do you know what? I might not upgrade my phone for 3 years maybe this time. So let's kind of almost future-proof a little bit. If I'm going to keep it that long, go for the bigger option. And that's possibly one of the first talking points that I'd noticed was they got rid of the 128 gig version and the RAM lowered for the lower spec, the 256, the RAM was 12 gig, whereas I think last year the 256 had 16 gig. And because the specs, the base specs are a bit higher, like storage, that is, and because memory is quite expensive at the moment, therefore people argued the price went up on the Pixel. I think if you compare like for like, I don't think they were that different though, the 256 to the 256, I don't think they were that different, but because the 128 option is gone, you've got to spend a bit more if you want a Pixel. So this 512 with 16 gig of RAM was, I think, $11.99. And again, isn't it funny, going back, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, I think I said I'd never spend more than £1,000. I didn't really blink an eye at this one, if I'm honest. But having said that, my Pixel 9 Pro, they gave me £690 trade-in. I'm not sure I paid that much for the phone in the first place. So I thought, you know, really I've paid 500 quid to upgrade. So I've paid kind of over 2 years, I've paid £250 each year for a phone, I suppose you could argue. I don't think that was too bad. Anyway, this is the longest intro I've ever done. All this to say, today we're just looking at the unboxing. So this is, I'm working today, so I'll do the unboxing now. I'll use the phone through the day, move things over, set things up, and then I'll sort of film the finishing up of the unboxing this evening, probably. So I'll have had a bit of time to play with it. Anyway, let's get on with the actual unboxing at this point. Also, I haven't used my GoPro for the first time. I don't know the one, no, I'll see if I can fix the white balance. It's quite a wide angle, so I'm not sure. Maybe I can zoom in. I'm recording it in 4K, that element, so perhaps I can zoom it in. I would imagine the actual unboxing element that I'm doing here probably isn't going to be that different to previous Pixel phones. I went for the Canyon color, which that sort of shows the Canyon color. I don't really know why. I mean, I think other people would probably just call it pink, which you might argue, oh, why are you getting a pink phone? Now I'd heard the camera bump was less pronounced, but that looks still quite a pronounced camera bump, I would have said. It feels quite a weight, although it's not really any different. I think it's a few grams heavier than the 9 Pro. The 9 Pro was 199 grams, and this is 204, so literally only 5 grams difference. There we go. So just to note, there is a USB-C to C cable. There's no charging brick. I think that's fairly normal these days. I don't know that I even need to look at whatever. Can't get it out anyway. Oh goodness, why is that? Oof, wow, that's pretty. I don't think I need to look at any of this, do I? I'm not gonna Oh, it has got the SIM eject tool in there, but I've got plenty of those, so that's there. Look. Oh, now I can't get it back in. Let's deal with that later. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in favour of the no charging brick these days. I think everybody has got USB-C chargers, haven't they? So I think I'm kind of in favour of that. Well, that feels quite cold as I pick it up. I mean, I guess why not? But so yeah, metal surround, canyon coloured back, gold sort of trim. Apparently a less pronounced. I mean, I suppose I can get my 9 Pro out. Let's have a look at the. No, that's a bigger camera bump, isn't it? Don't know why you can see that. That looks a bigger camera bump. I thought it was a smaller camera bump this year. One of the things I'm quite looking forward to is I missed out on the whole, what do they call it? The maglock situation, the battery told you it was early, the magnetic situation on the back, because I did recently get an accessory that clips onto it, which I might do a video on, a keyboard, click keyboard, and I had to order an AliExpress magnetic mag thingy case to try and use it, but then you miss out on the charging and stuff like that. So I'm quite interested to see how that works. Let's talk about a few of the specs while I get it booting up, in fact. Hopefully. There we go. So while it's booting up. So I've mentioned it's 5 grams heavier. It's almost the same size. In fact, I was thinking, I wonder, I mean, it's literally 0.1 of a millimetre here and there. I mean, oh wow, okay, that's not a bad, oh yeah, it's not ideal, is it? But because the camera's slightly, in a pinch, like I've not got a case at the moment, I may I may use the Pixel 9 Pro case, because yeah, literally there's sort of 0.1 of a millimetre difference on the height, the width, and the thickness of the device from the 9 Pro to the 11 Pro. Hola, speaking Spanish at me. I'll come back to that in a second while I just talk through a few of the specs. What's the next kind of thing that's quite... Oh, the screen, that was quite interesting. So the 9 Pro was a good, strong screen at sort of 3000 peak nits, but this goes up to 3600 peak nits. I did see a video, maybe it might have been the Google's own video, where they said it's actually the brightest screen on a device at the moment. I don't know if that's true. Technically, the screen is slightly smaller than it was on the 9 Pro. It's the new Tensor G6, which is a 3nm chipset. And they've dropped a core, which is interesting as well. So it was an octa-core on the 9 Pro, but it's a 7-core on the 11 Pro. It's a different GPU, PowerVR CXTP 481536, if that means anything to anybody. UFS 4 memory, so that's up from 3 on the 9 Pro. The cameras, I'm fairly sure they're talking, it is actually a new camera module now. There are new sensors, slightly bigger sensors, better dark light processing, much quicker on the night shots, I think. So that'd be interesting. I don't do a lot of normal amount of cycling when I'm taking photos, but that could be interesting. Native 8K video recording. Not too much else different there. Bluetooth 6.0, I don't know what difference that brings. It's a slightly bigger battery, 4850 against 47. It's got 30 watt wired charging and 25 wireless charging, so both of those up slightly. And it comes in the Canyon, the Olive, the Fog, and I think Obsidian, yeah. That's different colors. So that's kind of a quick run through some of its specs. Now it's looking me to set it up, so probably I should do this bit properly. So, like I said, at this point, we've done the actual unboxing element. I'll sort of use this through the day, get it set up and get it ready, and like I say, yeah, have a bit of a play, and then I'll sort of come back to finish the unboxing after work this evening. To you, just a few hours, that's all you need to know. At the same time, it'll be a few seconds when we cut over, and then I'll do the actual full review in a week or so when I've used it more and I've got some opinions to share. Right. I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so I've been using the device through the day. The transfer process was quite quick and easy. I don't know, I've used that in the past. In the past, it's quite nice to start fresh, just log, just install apps from the beginning, kind of like fresh start. Maybe because I've got more storage on this phone, I've not been so bothered, so I thought, I'll do the transfer process. And it kicked off really easy, and then it's sort of one point it says, yeah, we're gonna use Wi-Fi, but if you want to do this quicker, just plug in a cable. So while it's doing it, just connected with 2 USB-Cs, and it just went ahead and transferred everything across. And I thought that was really quite quick, how quickly everything did move across, although it's not moving the apps and everything. It sort of tells it what apps there are, and then it downloads all the apps and installs them. But all of my actual sort of files and data and everything seemed to come across, including my audiobooks, and all that worked really well, I thought. Having said that, because it's kind of installing a lot of the apps, not all of them, and it may be app-specific settings, not all of them will restore your settings. So for example, Smart Audiobook Player, it did. I was really pleased. I opened that up and there's the books that I'm currently listening to in the right place, can crack straight on. Whereas just a lot of other apps, I'm trying to think some of the specific ones. I mean, Octopi, the launcher I use, I had to sort of back up from the one phone and restore into the new phone. But then I guess because of slight differences in resolution or something, took a bit of time to get that moved back to where it should be. Anyway, so don't expect it to be two phones in together and just magically off you go on the new phone, but it worked quite well. A lot of settings, a lot of stuff did transfer across. I haven't got a huge amount to say at this point though about the device. I've used it through the day. I did notice straight away the speaker sounded sort of, I would call it strong is a word to use. And let me find my audiobook really quickly to give you a bit of an example.
R2 woo woo. Then the joke started about crystals hanging from a ceiling in Tulse Hill and candles burning 24/7. Yep, it was good to be back.
So hopefully you can hear that in my... So yeah, the speaker sounded very strong to me. I think louder than the 9 Pro. I'll get the sound meter on it at some point, I think. And then I went for my walk at lunchtime and I thought, I'd take the opportunity to take some photos. I got what I thought was some amazing pictures of flowers. It will automatically switch into macro if it needs to. But some of the photos it did. I thought they were quite close up, but it didn't bother going to macro. But I mean, the result was good, I thought, so I'm not going to worry about if it's in macro or not. And then I had to play with the zoom because this was zoom, although there's only a 5 times optical zoom in the lenses, it was zoomed to like 120 times or something. Okay, so I'd walked to the top of one hill, I turned around and I tried it out. Now, first of all, I'll show you the picture. I took it a couple of seconds after. That shows where I was stood, kind of the view I had back down the sort of hill almost. And then I zoomed in 120, and it's quite hard to aim when you're that far zoomed in, but I like it gives in the corner, it gives you kind of the overall picture and shows you a little yellow square where you're pointing at. And I pointed at a car, took a picture. Now, this is the original, a bit pixelated, not too clear, and then basically AI cleans it up and you're left with this photo. Now, yes, AI's cleaned it up so you can't read the registration plate on the car because it didn't have enough information to be able to replicate it. It just kind of based it on what was around it and what it thought it should look like, which I think is quite interesting because it makes you think, what is a photo and what is just kind of what Google thinks you're looking at? But before we move on to that, I suppose, just to come back to this, what I was looking at, and the car I took the picture of is highlighted here, look. That's pretty crazy, really, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I was quite impressed. Although, yes, it's AI adjusted or enhanced or whatever you want to call it. Like when you see in the movies, can you clean that up for me? It's not magic. It doesn't make the registration appear out of nowhere. It can't do that. But it does clean up that image. And I thought, that is quite impressive. And then I tried, I saw a cat kind of froze in the alleyway when it saw me, and I took a picture kind of just regular 1 times, and then I zoomed in on the cat. I think it was about 30 times and took the picture, and again I thought, yeah, that looks pretty good. But again, is that a picture of the cat I saw, or is that a picture where Google has put in a cat of how a cat would look in an alley? I don't know, it's quite an interesting point, I suppose. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments down below. So please do give me yours. Yeah, so I don't have a huge amount else to say at this point. It seems super snappy and quick. The screen looks great. I think the photos look great. The speaker sounds nice and loud. But I will use it now for a week or so, and I'll record the actual full review then. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe to see that. Let me know your thoughts on anything I might have said in the video in the comments down below. I do read them all. That's all for now though. Thanks for watching. My name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon.